Start. Good evening, everybody. This is Free to Heal, and we are formerly incarcerated and loved ones, and we come together every week trying to heal from the things that mass incarceration, the wounds that they left on all of us, which are many, oftentimes, but we come together in support for that. And this evening, this gentleman says he has something he wants to talk about. And what would that be?
I'm mad because half the time I lay down, I sleep for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, then I friggin' wake up, and I'm up for 3 or 4 hours, and then I'm back down for an hour. That drives me up the damn wall.
It certainly will give you a bad attitude, that's for sure. I think it's a something to talk to your doctor about, for sure. Because it could be the combination of medications, it could be a series of things that that require attention. But you should not be waking up every hour.
I do.
That's for sure.
And it gives me a headache.
I'm sorry to hear that. Before I move, anybody else had anything, any topics on their mind, anything on their heart that they wanted to have addressed? I do. If not, we're going to talk about something that that Cheryl talked to me about briefly.
What was that?
And that is between.
Where's my keys? I'm going to buy a microphone right now.
Right now, I'm going to buy my.
What had happened? So which one talk about, Mr. Roberta? You want to talk about what?
I say at 11 to you, wait, I'm going to get my microphone right now.
No, man. Please come sit. No, we're not doing that right now. We're not letting Roberta. Nope, not today.
I'm going to buy one.
So anyway, one of the things that Cheryl and I talked about briefly was how it is, like I was talking to her about how for parents, no matter who you are, your DNA transfers to your children. Your trauma DNA, that transfers too. It goes in your body. It goes through your DNA through something called, it's called, where did it go? I had it on my screen a minute ago. But there's actually a actual term as to how that happens. I know years ago I always believed as a Black woman that I carried the trauma from Black women before me, but I never had any proof for that. And I found out, and then just a couple years ago, they said prove that any trauma from everybody transfers in your DNA. And so not only do good things about you transfer to your children and your offspring, but so do traumas. You know how they talk about if you have a parent with a substance abuse, you're more likely to have a substance abuse or to abuse a substance. That's because it transfers in the DNA. And on the positive side of it, I want to say, because this is what started Cheryl and I talk about it, was how much like her son is and doesn't realize it. Like his disposition, his just the way he does things, not to mention his intelligence and all of those things transfer in DNA. So when you see, I even had to tell somebody, they were talking to me about they're in prison now, and they were saying that their son, who is just now 18, he had somebody send him some money or whatever, and he thinks the son spent the money. And because the son is now avoiding his phone calls. And I said to this person, I said, that disappearing, he got it from you. Because that's what you do. You disappear. Instead of facing necessarily, or whatever the reason, but you have a history and a track record of disappearing. So you will walk out the door, no argument, no nothing, and not talk to somebody for months on end. And your son picked that up, not only in experience with you, but also in DNA. Because I believe he got it from the generation before him when I look at his family. So there are things that we get from our parents. I can remember there are things that my son would do that I know there's no way that he was imitating his father, but he did it just like him. Just like him. And it's like, whoa. You act like him, you talk like him, you look like him, all these things, but it's because it is in our DNA. So now what do we do with that, right? There's a way, one of the things that I think that's great about it is there will always be a way that if you think about who you are and how you feel about something, to talk to your children. And I'm saying this with respect to people who are coming home from prison, who are trying to reintegrate into the lives of their children. There will always be something that you have in common. There will be things that you know, whether you know it or not, or there will be behaviors that you see from your children that you will have to identify as you. And what do you do with that? You do for them what you would have needed somebody to do for you.
Yeah, my parents drank a lot. So I drank a lot when I was young.
Yeah, and that's what I say, I've always thought that kind of stuff, they always said that was a norm, that if you come from your family, your parents drink a lot or even do drugs, that you're more likely. Just like if your parents have been incarcerated, you're more likely to wind up incarcerated or something. That's just, the studies have proven it. So it doesn't matter. But again, I want to focus too on the positive side of that being, when we're trying to deal with children, particularly if they're grown, right? When you come home, if they're grown and you don't get an opportunity to shape them, know that there's still part of you in them that you can understand and you can affect. You not being there physically every day of their lives doesn't disconnect the connection. You may not know how to reach it, but if you take yourself a step or two back and just watch what they're doing. Watch what they're doing. And you're going to see yourself. Now, on the flip side of that, those of us, I would say you, Miss Tony, right? You got your mama's DNA, like it or not, right? That is just so, and I said it just to say, because you're the only child here right now of somebody. So I'll say, yeah, no, but you're the only one who, really, I'm just saying. So there are things about you that are like her, right? And so I said that to say that it goes in both directions, right? There will be things that if you do those things, you know how to address certain things because there are things about her that's like you and vice versa. And to me, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now listen,
if you properly address it and intercept that which you felt was negative, inappropriate, improper, and see if you can see yourself imitating, emulating, or repeating, learning to step back and give yourself humanity and grace, and give your child the opportunity to address. Those are things that I have done, because I understand some things are inherent and they are attached to your DNA.
When you said that, something that made me think too is that it's good because you can, as a child, You now having your own children, there are things you can correct, which we call, very often call breaking the cycle,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So because you've seen it from one generation to the next, it gives,
Felt it.
and you've lived it.
Yes.
Felt it, lived it,
Yes.
suffered it,
Yes.
survived it. You see what I'm saying? Because all those things may apply.
Yeah.
They may not all apply to everybody's situation, but they all apply in somebody's situation. And because you've done that, now you know how to break the cycle with your own children, right? There are going to be things, we all, I think, endeavor to be better parents to our children than our parents were with us, no matter how good they are.
Mhm.
You know, there's some things my mother did that I didn't want to do with me, with my son. You know what I mean?
It's a personal, and it's also a personal reflection. Give, for example, eating something as a child that my mother wanted to force me to eat that I didn't want to eat, and then repeating that cycle with my daughter and having her literally challenge me on eating that particular food. And it was a food that I liked, that she didn't, and having to reflect what happened between me and my mother that time when she was trying to force me to eat liver and onions. And I was like, not having it. You know, I went to bed hungry because I wasn't going to eat it. And if I didn't eat it, I couldn't eat anything else. And when I attempted to almost do the exact same thing with carrots, my
I hate
daughter
carrots.
said,
You hate carrots? But you hate vegetables, period.
I don't like it. And I'm like forcing it. I don't care. You know, it's good for you, da 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 da. And having her be vocal when she was a very polite, very respectable, triggered in me. Am I doing the same thing? I'm like, okay, but if you ask my daughter today at her 40-year-old ass, she'll still tell you about those carrots. Because yeah, I did start to make her eat the carrots, but then I stopped. And then with my son, I'm like, taste it. You don't like it? Don't eat it. So for me, nice steak. I want smothered onions. I want mushrooms. He's like, I don't want no mushrooms.
Okay,
You know,
keep
so-
shrooms, keep shrooms.
So I'm making that steak. I'm cutting half of it off and giving it to him, and then I'm moving on with the mushrooms and the onions. And my daughter wants the mushrooms and the onions. And so I have learned as a parent to give that tater because I know that my children have a very healthy balance of food. So if you say that you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah, because you know they've had, and you know, one of the things I like is that you let them taste it, right? And then say, I don't like it. One thing that I try to discourage is I look at it and I just don't like it. You don't even know if you like it. You haven't even tasted it yet.
I tell you if I don't like it.
Well, if you haven't tasted it, you don't really know whether you like it or don't. You just
That's not true.
you know, if it listen, you don't
If
really
it's
know.
green,
It's right. So if
I ain't eating it.
No. So me, I want that smothered steak. So looking at the liver and onions, it wasn't the look, it was the smell. And I knew from the smell
that you didn't like it.
that I did not like it.
Which
And
is
to
very
this
funny.
day.
Which is very funny because you cook by smell. That's very funny to me.
But you
That
can't.
you've always been who that is. Like your sense of smell
Yeah.
matters to you.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't smell cottage cheese. Can't really
You can
smell.
look at it though. But this is the thing. I believe in at least try. I would say that. I do.
Yeah,
And that's at least try.
At least try.
And then
Right.
you have every right to say, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I do think to your point in terms of.
You're
as a
so far
parent-
away, we can't hear you.
As a parent, you can see that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yes.
And so because
Yes.
of that,
Yes,
as you
for sure.
address your kids, if you understand that you are a part of them, it allows you to approach it in a different way.
Yes.
Yes.
And not
And that's the growth.
yeah, and not make the same mistakes
Yes.
that our parents made.
Yes.
Right. And we can all grow and each generation get a little bit better at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And there's less trauma. Because I could tell you, I still to this day, I told y'all about them canned peas.
Peas are nasty.
Canned peas are the nastiest shit in the entire world.
And
Okay?
it's so
Let me
sweet,
just
and then
say
they
that.
add more sugar to it.
And nobody, no, sugar didn't help them. They was mushy and it was salty and it was disgusting. And she made me eat it, and she always cooked it with my favorite meal, which is fried chicken and rice and gravy. I'm still having trouble.
Are you
It's
having
not
a
as bad as
flashback?
liver and onions.
And I love liver and onions.
It's a flashback. It's a traumatic flashback. What y'all say, these are triggers?
Yeah, that's
This
your
was a
trigger. That was yours.
Them damn canned peas was a trigger because I couldn't stand them. But I also, there was that rule, right? Tony, you don't eat this,
Mhm.
then you
And
don't eat
you
nothing.
don't get the fried chicken, you don't get the rice and gravy.
So what did I start doing? I start scarfing down those nasty peas so I can get to enjoy the rest of my meal. I learned to take my punishment, get that out the way, and then I can enjoy the rest of my meal.
You didn't have a dog?
No, we didn't. Not
You said you
until we didn't have any animals until I got to be a teenager. By that time I was cooking for myself.
Mm.
And I surely wasn't opening no can of peas.
Mm-mm.
That wasn't gonna happen. Okay. So understanding again though,
Yeah.
all of the ways, that our connection
Mhm.
to our children, there are so many ways that it never breaks no matter who we are. It's one of the reasons that children who have abusive parents, alcoholic parents, drug addict parents, whatever, they are more likely to try to have a relationship with that parent. We started in Concerned Citizens, we built housing for emancipated foster youth. The emancipated foster youth, they had to share a unit with two other people, but the biggest problem we had was them trying to move their mamas in with them.
Yeah.
You
Because
said that
the
before.
love doesn't disconnect. It doesn't matter how quote unquote bad a parent they are. The child loves them. They may be angry at them. They may be disappointed in
Yeah,
them.
they feel they have to protect them.
But they always feel like they gotta protect them.
That's why.
They always do. They always feel like, and they always want the love. That never changes, and it doesn't matter how old we are. None of those things matter, because half of their DNA came from us. So yeah, they're gonna want us. Yes, they're gonna want a good relationship with you. And the key, I think, because we talked about it a few weeks ago with a guy who came on, and his son, which I thought was very respectful of his son. His son responded to him, telling him that he was glad that he was out
Mhm.
after doing, what was it, 50 years, almost 51, that he was glad that he was out, but that he had no interest in a relationship with him. I felt like that was, generous of the son even to say that. And nobody gets to determine how our children respond to whatever happened or a person's absence in their life. As you integrate into society and you're trying to reintegrate into your family's life, you have to give them time. I know Terrell used to say all the time, just let them talk. If they want to curse and holler and scream, just let them do it and just listen. And that's some of the wisest advice I've heard for people is just listen to them. Let them have their say.
Don't try to control their feelings.
Right, you cannot control their feelings. And if they don't want to be involved with you, then let that be. Just make sure that they always know that there's an open door. I also caution very much on the other side of that coin, which to me is on the other side of the coin, which is do not allow them to emotionally manipulate you based on your absence. Because children will do that. They will, if they notice a soft spot with you and I can get at you to get you to give me what I want, by tapping this little spot right here, they'll do that. And we're not obligated to allow people to emotionally abuse us, whether we gave birth to them or not.
Mm-mm.
We're not. We're not obligated. So don't feel obligated. Don't force yourself on them. Let them know that there is an open door of communication if they ever want to go through it. But at the same time, I say this, if you need to apologize, apologize. If you've already apologized, then you've done it. You don't have to keep doing it. But never allow them to manipulate you using emotions based on the fact that you went to prison. Because as I always say here,
The choice was.
nobody ever that went to prison ever woke up and said, I'm gonna go commit this crime so that I can ruin my children's lives. Nobody ever did that.
You know why?
Why?
Cause I ain't got no fucking children.
Oh,
I'm going home.
even if you
Uh-huh.
did, well, even if you did, but guess what? Even if you did, you wouldn't do that. You would never say that. You don't know how it hurt your mom that you were gone, right? You
Exactly.
never woke up and decided, I'm gonna go ahead because I caused mama some pain. I'm gonna go on and be absent.
Oh.
You never did that.
Oh. I was gone from the time I was 11
Mm-hmm.
till I got out last time. My mom used to say, as long as you're in fucking prison, I know exactly where you at,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And when she said that to me, I thought, son of a bitch.
Well, let me tell you what that was. That was her looking at the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, that was a silver lining comment. It was not.
But it still hurt her.
It hurt her that she couldn't hold you and give you a hug or fix your favorite meal on your birthday. And
You know, it hurts me more that I wasn't there for in the later years.
mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I regret about being in prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, prison never bothered me.
Well, it's because you started at 11. You grew up in prison, right? That's why.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you said it. You said it to me one of the first times we talked about this, which was, had she gotten you out of juvenile before you had your first fight, it might have been different.
hell yeah.
Because
But
once
after I found out I could whoop them, I don't give.
You didn't have
shit
more
if I-
fear.
Yeah, I don't give a shit if I had to stay.
right, and because that's what most people fear, right, is the violence, right? And at 11 years old, when you were barely even formed,
Hmm.
you learned that you could defend yourself in prison, and so therefore you weren't afraid. But in your mom's heart, I promise you,
It was cracked.
she was in pain because you weren't there. Especially remember, you the baby boy.
I know.
You the baby boy. I ain't met a mama yet didn't love that baby boy.
No.
I ain't met one yet.
That's because
See,
y'all
Don't
bitch.
see,
stay with it.
see, you love that baby boy.
Get on my last nerve.
Yeah, he might, but that's okay though,
Yeah, he
because
On my birthday.
Huh?
you had him on your birthday.
Oh.
Did you
Played that
really?
card on me, that thing, that manipulation, you
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
there and.
Oh yeah, they all do
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
Well, kids gonna do that
But I
anyway.
did find myself doing this, what my mom did to me, always yelling.
Oh.
Yelling and giving, like here, she was financially, she took care of, gonna be all right. She didn't want to be bothered. She yelled a lot. I found myself doing that. And it was Antoine, the older one, that told me, why you always yelling? I'm like, no, I'm not. Still yelling. But then I found out, like, damn, that's all I do is yell. That's all my mama did. We never got whoopings or nothing, but she'll yell you out the door. She can yell you in the closet. She yelling. This, yeah.
Me and Diane talk about all the time, like, we don't like to be yelled at. Like, my mother was a yeller too. She was.
Only my
I
grandmother.
think where I was blessed is my mother was equally as quick to compliment you, hug you, and love on you too. She balanced it very well.
You know, I didn't kiss my mom but maybe 3 or 4 times in my whole life.
Really.
That's it. That's it.
Do you know why?
We wasn't a ugly family. Now I had a cousin that they hugged on their kids and all that shit. And me and Joycey, we used to think, man, look at this shit. But our family,
You're
fuck
supposed
you.
to do that. It's okay.
Yeah,
What's
don't touch
gonna
me.
happen?
Yeah, don't touch me.
We wasn't a husband.
Well,
Well, I'm a
and we
hugger.
kind of, learned to ignore that about.
Yeah, we don't care what you be talking about. We know what
Because
you live.
you've been adopted and grafted into
Yeah,
this
we don't
family,
care
but
what you
you have to
talking
learn
about.
how to accept a hug.
Yeah, give me a
I don't
hug.
know what to tell Miss Tony, because you know what I'm
Ain't
saying,
nobody
we
worry
gonna
about
hug
her.
on her whether she like it or don't. We not really
We don't care.
We don't care. She's gonna have to get, because the hug ain't for her, it's for us.
Thank you. Hello.
It is very selfish.
Can't you just hug yourself and look at
No, we want to hug you,
No.
especially
You just
like
get on
when
my
we haven't
nerves.
seen you guys, seen you in a
Thank you.
while.
I ain't seen you in a long time.
I'm cool.
You're not a hugger.
No,
That's
they're
why.
not, but and it's like you, but guess what? I'm gonna hug your ass too.
Mhm.
I don't care if I don't like
mind
it. Yeah. He don't mind. He don't mind a hug. Tony, on the other hand,
I mind.
she minds.
And I still do it.
And guess what? And we're gonna hug her.
Touching on me and shit.
Let me tell you something.
Weird.
Just telling
It's
you,
not.
not even an hour
Weird as
ago, how I was in a situation and being hugged and touched, I did not realize how much I needed it. It never occurred to me that I needed it. And it actually did good for me. I'm just saying.
And I don't feel shit.
You know,
Or are you with your guy friends? You just, what?
Oh, that's different.
It depends. Like, I'm not like, just like, no, just smoochy woochy, no, just, okay. Maybe we cuddle, we watch a movie, things. I'm not stiff or anything, but I don't even notice if you guys notice. Like today, did you notice? Yeah.
what?
When she walked up to me when I came in, after she hit
Yeah,
me
you
on my
stop.
ass.
You stop.
So I stopped because she came, here she come running up like a little
You
mouse,
stop.
and she grabbed me and hugged me, and I braced myself. It's just,
You do it
don't
all the
know.
time.
We've even done it as an experiment at home, and my uncle said, hey, he's like, we just really don't hug, and I was like, we don't. I was like, but if somebody stepped to one of us, we ready, and he was like, I know. He said, but we don't hug, and he said, just watch, and he stopped. He said, son, I love you. And he was like, Dad, you smoking again? And he said he loved it. He said to my cousin, he said, Reggie, my nephew, I love you. And he was like, you all right?
Everything okay?
And he said to my daughter, he was like, Lacey, come give me a hug. And she was like, yeah, what's wrong with you? And everybody came through the door, every time he did it, and he and I just both laughed about it. And I said, okay, but we okay though,
And like you said, because the love is there, right? You guys know that the love is there.
I don't think we're any more dysfunctional than any other family. I got people who lovey huggy, all that,
and they're not good,
and they're not
really good. They're not healthy.
Yeah, but you call me on the phone. You need to know how to cook something. Yeah,
I wouldn't hug you.
I wouldn't hug me either.
No, I mean, you're a mean person.
No, she's
No,
not.
she's not.
No, she's not.
She's not.
No, she's not.
I'm
No.
curt as they come.
Huh?
I am as curt as they come.
She's not me.
Yeah, but Kurt means short.
Don't fuck with me.
Yeah, but she's not
Don't
mean.
fuck with me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But that's not mean
You're
though.
a mean.
That's not mean though.
Bitch.
No, you're not.
Right.
No, that's not mean. I'm
That's
sorry.
That's people's perception.
Yes.
That's our perception.
Yes.
That's not really true.
And she's not
That's,
me.
that's
Let
not
me
really
tell you
true.
something.
Because I'm wait.
As
Before
much
you,
as I would like to hug you,
Bald-headed, motherfucker.
what you say? As much as you would like to hug her, what?
I ain't that stupid.
He don't want to get whooped on me. He want to be
You don't want the
about
bull
it.
fight stick.
But you know what? That's okay. That's good. I'm okay with that, right? But
And I'm not mean at all.
no,
you're not.
I'm very matter of factly is what I am.
Yeah.
And
Hey, look, I watched you three over there in that damn corner trying to choke each other to death. Yeah, and I'm talking about you, her, and her.
I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't here. I didn't do
Oh,
it.
no, he said you
It
was
said
in it.
I didn't do it.
okay. all right.
I don't know what happened.
Tell me you don't sit there and argue with her. And
Yes.
with that one right there,
Yes.
I rest my damn case.
It's all love.
That
Yes,
don't
it did.
mean-
Yes, I
that
love
doesn't
them.
mean I think you're wrong.
Yeah. I think it, but it's definitely environmental. Because
Yes.
I can even say at a funeral,
Mm-hmm.
I have been sobbing and my cousin sobbing and turn around and we hugging and then we look up. Girl, if you don't let me go.
Oh, okay, and now mind you, but
And I
keep this-
did that.
But keep this in mind,
Wow.
though.
And they
This is
fell
the
out
thing-
laughing.
This is the thing that's interesting, though, is that kind of behavior and those feelings transfer in your DNA.
Yeah.
I mean, when me and Short was talking about it, it was so amazing to us, like, wow, because she was with her son and she was taking a picture, and there was this 1 second that he looked at her and it was like, you do that. That's a look that you give, right?
Mhm.
He has certain sensibilities that are just like her.
He act just like her.
He acts just like her.
He talk like her.
You better keep your mouth closed.
Thank you.
Right.
So I'm saying, like you said, he's so much like her,
So much like
but
her.
he doesn't even know it. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna take a minute, and we know that there was no way that he could have been imitating her
Yeah.
because he was too little when she went away
Yeah.
for him to be imitating her. That's what I used to say about my son. His father was little, you know what I'm saying? He didn't get to mimic his behavior and the way he did things, nor, for example, his absolute love and obsession with tennis shoes. My son could hardly even talk. And this was him. I love the little Buster Brown Bucks, they was just so cute. I wanted him. And he goes, I want Nikes. He's like, I want to wear Nikes. I said, oh, you obviously can be potty trained, because if you could tell me you want to wear Nikes, you can say I gotta go potty.
Huh.
Yeah, potty trained him in a week.
Believe
Because
that.
that's what you
Hello.
won't be doing. I won't be
Yeah.
buying and changing more shitty diapers.
Thank
If
you.
you could tell
And you
me
wear
wanna
Nikes.
Go wear Nikes?
Yeah, you better get in that bathroom. Fast.
Yeah, you better get on that potty. Because mama won't be doing no more. So,
Yeah.
But that was something literally that his father had an obsession with. I mean, in a big way. And he got it from him. He couldn't be mimicking because he was like 15, 16 months. He wasn't even 2 years old yet. Talking about, I don't wear Nikes. I don't wear Nikes. Boy, you better go get a job. See, that's what we're gonna do. You need to go get a job so you can buy Nikes. Because I'm buying Buster Brown.
That's what I like.
I'm buying Buster Brown, but his dad bought Nikes, so he had them.
Do you remember Buster Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we were kids. That's where we got our damn tennis shoes.
Heck yeah. And Buster Brown was good shoes.
I'm
You know-
a dry right kid.
Mhm.
That too. Now, by the time he came along, Skyride was there, but
Oh,
my mom was adamant that you don't buy cheap shoes.
Mm-mm.
Her thing was cheap
shoes
shoes
tear
will
your feet.
tear. That's what she said. They tear your feet up.
But I did.
And once they are, you can't
Oh,
undo the
I
damage.
did. I put him in tennis shoes too early because I liked the look, the outfit, the look, and it did kind of like mess with his ankles a little bit because it was too early. It was too early. He still needed to wear the shoes.
With
Yes,
with the support.
yes,
on
he
the
still needed
ankles.
the shoes.
Yeah, so I want to ask you guys that have children, can you think of anything that you can see where your children took your DNA? Go ahead.
And I'm a morning person, but not a morning person. If you're in the house with me, don't talk to me. Whatever you gonna do. Cause let me do whatever I'm gonna do. Don't be high. No, don't. Just let me do what you do.
Not too much talking.
No, that's how me and my son. All of us, we can get along because everybody know, like we don't do a lot of talking in the mornings. I'm a morning person. I like to go to work early, things like. But I don't want a lot of that. No,
Okay.
don't ask me a lot of questions.
Need a lot of information.
No, we already know what's going on. We already know what's happening. Just do what you gotta do so we can go. We do both. All three of us do that together. It's weird.
Anybody else?
My son definitely has his father's DNA,
Okay.
and he does not know his father. Ask him. It's scary. It's scary, the conversations that we have, and just little bitty things. It's frightening because he has no memory of his father whatsoever. And he reverts me back to a childhood because as a child, I would be with his father, you know, because his father's my uncle. And it's very scary because I can literally see things and the way he reacts, the way people react to him, the animal magnetism.
You know what I used to tell my daddy? I said, when I get big enough, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. And when I got big enough, it was mama would stop me. Cause I was gonna
Well,
his fucking.
well, that was her husband.
No,
That was,
married.
but listen, that was her man. You don't get to tell, you know.
I wanted to break that some bitch's jaw.
But what's crazy to me is, I bet there's so much about you that's just like
Just
him.
like him.
That's just like him, that people would, I'm sure your sisters see it, and they would tell you about it. Yeah.
I think, so for me, I have my daughters, it's been interesting to watch them since I've been out. They have a fascination with drawing that I used to have when I was a kid. And I did not give that to them because I've been gone so long, right? But it was interesting when I grew up in the South, it wasn't okay for boys to draw and do a lot of stuff like that. So my parents discouraged me from doing it. And so I still grew up to, just because it was feminine, like, you know, coloring, and you were supposed to be outside playing, throwing stuff, you know, versus like, you know, coloring, right? And so it's been interesting for me to watch the level of fascination for me now to be able to pour into it. So to give them more crayons and to give them more things, and to see them express themselves in that way, that they're so interested by it. And also for me to now refine that in energy, because I end up being a creative and doing creative things in a different way on websites and stuff, logos. But it's been cool to watch them, because it's like, man, why do they do that? Their mom doesn't draw. Their mom isn't. So I think, to your point, it's interesting to see these things manifest itself.
And you know what I like about that too is, you get the opportunity to do for them what wasn't done for you. Because who knows where that lands them? Who knows what opportunities it may provide to them, right? So you get to say to them, you get to nurture it and see what it leads to in them. You want to say something?
I think all fathers love their daughters. I mean, you know, my daddy loved Joycey. And he didn't like me with a fuck.
He probably did anyway, even if he was, listen, there's a DNA connection.
I told him, I said,
No matter what though, but no matter what,
freak, I'm gonna kick your
no matter
ass.
what it is though, I can promise you that there was a part of him that loved you, if nothing else, because you are his. He may have been a messed up person, and when you go back in his lifetime, when you go back to see what happened to him, right, there was a way, and little girls with their dads do have a way of breaking through what little boys don't have a way of breaking.
You know who loved him the most?
Who?
His mother.
Oh yeah.
She loved daddy like nothing business.
And as she should, right? Like your mom loved you, right? And we, you know, especially when it comes to children of the opposite sex, right? I know I always said my son was gonna have nothing but girls, because he always talked about his daughters. His sons and his conversation would be an afterthought. I was like, he ain't gonna produce no little boys, he only gonna have girls. And he did, he had 2 little girls. And they are his heart and soul. But it's like that. It you know, it just is, it's a thing. And I think it taps into a part of us that's different, but that is attractive to us. It's different than us, like, men like softer things, you know what I'm saying?
Daddy's girls, mama's boys.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, anybody else, any other DNA? I can think of like with my dad. I didn't grow up with my dad in my house, but I know that I have competing tendencies. My mother was a hoarder and my father was a minimalist. So I know that I got that everything needs a place. You don't need a bunch of everything and all that. I got that from my dad. My mom is not that. My mom was not that. She always had too much of everything. And so I know that that translated. My dad gave me writing. That is something that he did very well. My father in the 70s was writing for Guns and Ammo magazine. That was not something that in the 70s that Black men got involved in, and certainly didn't get published in, articles in Guns and Ammo magazine.
That's probably because they didn't want them standing on the thing getting a picture took with a gun.
Well, I don't know, but I know my dad taught me how to reload bullets and took me to the range. That was his hobby. And so he taught me how to shoot handguns, rifles, all of that, how to reload ammunition and all that stuff. But the writing, I believe I got through my DNA. He never sat me down and said, this is how you write a sentence or whatever. But I know that because all of his children picked it up. We all have it. Whatever it is, we have an ability to write and communicate through the written word. And that is something I know I got from him. I know I got that from him. And it's not something that I mimic, because if it would have been anything, it would have been reading in the bathroom. My dad, like, that's something I watched even when I went to visit him. My brothers, but it's funny because my brothers and I, all of us, we all keep books in the bathroom. All of us. You know what I mean? And that's from him. You know what I'm saying? It was a thing. Okay, if you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go because daddy can go to the bathroom. So you got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to go. But again, it was the reading and loving to read and the writing. And we all were readers. And I know that he was not there enough to make it like we were doing it because he was doing it. He just wasn't in the house enough. It was just something that we all picked up from him. Yeah, were you gonna say something when I was talking?
I mean,
because I thought I had cut you off.
no, you didn't.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
But I think my kids we got a goofiness to us. Like they all got a video. Antoine, you would never know, but he a character. He goofy. I'm goofy, and Trayvon, we all goofy. We look somewhere and we look at each other. We be like. And I found myself, I was like, why you doing that? But it's just something that happened.
Because it's you.
Yeah, we're
right.
Goofy.
And again, I think the thing that I love about it is the fact that where it's positive things, like in art, you can promote it. Whereas things that you wouldn't want them to do, you can correct those things. There are things that you can channel just with the understanding that they come from you and that the connection is deeper than the physical proximity to each other, right? It's deeper than the way you look. It's so, and which is another reason why when I think about your dad, right, Pike, and I think I'd really like to know what his childhood was like. I'd really like to know what produced the man that you knew. There were some things that happened that produced that man that you know.
My dad was a mean son of a bitch.
But he got that way. No, he got that way. So he wasn't born that way, is what I'm trying to say. There were things that happened to him in his life that produced that.
Yeah, but I don't I don't ever remember dad's dad.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I remember grandpa,
uh-huh,
you know,
on your mom's side. Oh. So you remember grandma, you remember his mom,
his mom.
but
and-
not his dad.
Well, he called him daddy.
Okay, was that his biological father?
Hell no.
Okay. So, okay, so you remember his stepfather, not his father. But, and see, all of that's a story. All of that is
It's a
certain
whole bunch of
things.
stuff.
All of that, there's a story there
Bunch of
that you
stuff,
may
yeah.
not be aware of and be privy to, but he did not come into the world a mean son of a bitch.
Being angry.
Who?
Your dad, he didn't come into the world
Yeah.
that way. No, he
That
didn't.
motherfucker came in like,
You wasn't there, so you don't know. You wasn't there. There's no way you
How you
can
pull that?
decide how he came here.
look,
You
look,
cannot.
no,
I don't care what
no,
you say.
no. When that son of a bitch whooped me,
Uh-huh,
he whooped me twice.
uh-huh.
I couldn't go to school for 2 weeks. He was a son of a bitch.
But wasn't born that way. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that the person that you encountered, the person that was your
Mhm.
father that parented you,
Well, it had to be
was a
grandpa.
violent son of a bitch. Well, it had to be somebody. We can't, and you cannot say it had to be grandpa.
Yeah. 'cause
You
the-
cannot, because let me say this, we're
Well,
finding out.
grandma was married to him for 50 years.
But what I'm saying is, it doesn't necessarily mean that is what was the source of his anger.
Yeah, something was.
There could have been any number of things. It could have been simply the fact that his father wasn't there. And the circumstances, this is why I always encourage, I've been doing this since 2013, when I was, in the prisons and out. I always say, for people who have a negative impression of their parents,
I don't got
ask
a
yourself,
negative one.
ask what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
They are likely doing the absolute best they can with what they have at any given moment. If you have never been loved and cared for, and you've never been treated or
Kind.
encouraged, you don't know how to do that. You don't have that. If it's been the opposite, it's even worse. It's one thing to have a blank slate, it's another thing to have a negative experience.
You know what? I always knew my mother loved me.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Even in big prick as I was.
mm-hmm.
But there was nobody in the world that I didn't love more than my mother,
Sure,
you know?
sure.
Now, my grandpa,
Mm-hmm,
fuck him. My dad, double fuck him.
mm-hmm,
And I used to tell him, look, from the time I was that tall,
mm-hmm,
let me get big enough to whoop your ass.
mm-hmm.
And then when I got big enough, Mama stopped me. I wanted to whoop his ass so fucking bad, I could taste it.
Well,
One thing I did think about though, to your point, my dad was like what you mentioned. He was very violent. He ended up killing my mom. And he went to prison and he was gone, and I didn't have parents, right? But I do think what I learned from the process as I got older was I don't know anything about him and what made him the monster that he became. And I had to release myself from even the anger of saying he was one thing or another. I just had to say, hey, this is the situation. The one thing I do think that helped me was, and I know this is an unpopular thing now, but watching shows like Bill Cosby, I remember thinking to myself like, oh, wow, I wish you were my dad. And what can I learn from this dude and how he communicates to Theo or how he communicates to his kids or how he dances with them and how they perform for his wife and, how he, treats the people, the people that he interacts
Now
with.
they all talk bad about
But I think part of the reason why I am the father that I am today
if you did
is
get to
because
see that.
I got a chance to see it every Thursday, et cetera. And then the same thing for then even the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Uh-huh.
Like
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil. And so like
Someone's talking to you, taking
those
time with you.
experiences, even where can you learn how to evolve and where can you learn how to learn
Right.
what you want to become so you can break the cycles? Because I knew I didn't want to kill my future, wife or
Right.
baby's mom or whatever else, but I do
Yeah.
think there are
Would
opportunities.
would you ever in the same prison as your dad?
No.
Now let me ask you a question.
Yep.
If you hadn't been, would you kill him?
No. Nope.
Or you're weak?
Yep, I am weak, and because weak in the sense of what you would classify as weak.
Right.
I think the value that I have that I have for my kids, if I
Yeah,
would have hurt
myself.
him,
Yeah.
Would have been away from them forever.
Again, yeah.
So
But something you had nothing to do with, and you would have doomed another generation to be fatherless, which to
Mhm.
me is weaker. Like you say, it's weak. It's not
Yeah.
a sign of strength. See, violence don't require no particular strength.
So don't. That's
To be
easy.
violent,
That's easy.
that doesn't
Really
take
easy.
anything. Listen, I could fly off the handle right now.
Exactly. That's
And
easy.
that's easy. The easy thing
That's
to do. What I
easy.
found to be harder to do is to do nothing.
Mm.
And when I say that, I mean when someone really by right
Deserves
to
this,
get that ass whipped,
and
and
I'm
I've had to deserve it, and I've had to say no, don't do that. That has taken more strength for me.
about to pull
That
off
was
the
one
damn
of the
hair out.
hardest things I ever had to learn how to do was to do nothing.
but I do think, Pike, to your point, like that anger that you
Half for him.
have for
Bad.
I also had that. So when I was young, I felt like, okay, if I ever see him, I'm gonna get back at him. I'm gonna get, etc. But then I'm sure you would have. But for me, as I got older, I realized that I'm living for something else now. Something more like whatever my lick that I can get back on him, I would sacrifice my daughter's life and my
Your life
kids'
too.
and my life, etc. And then also by the time I went to prison for the first time, we couldn't hurt old people anyway. Like there were rules to the process as well too. Like we
Even the
couldn't.
feds.
Yeah, we couldn't fight.
I don't know about
so
that.
like it was like there were rules of engagement, right? So like
The only place you couldn't get a son of a bitch were two places. One was church, and one was a visiting room. But church got so bad, it didn't matter after that. When the guy stepped out of church, they stuck him.
They be cracking in the visitor room.
but
No, they don't. You don't crack nobody in that visiting room because they locked that visiting room down for a month.
Oh, it be cracking.
but I do think that and I do think that's one of the things that I love about social media and even YouTube now. Like if you want to heal, to bring it all together, or if you want to figure out ways to do things differently, there's so much access to information now. Where we didn't used to have a lot of that before. And so if you want to use technology and you want to use tools that are at your fingertips, there's tons that help out
To
there
make
that
you
I think
better.
you can
More
make it better.
availability.
To make you better.
There's information like you said, the good thing about that is the fact that children are more attached to the phones and different things than it's just a way of life for them, right? It's a way of life.
At the library.
So if they want to know things, there is some place that they can get it, which is one of the reasons why with the Trump administration trying to erase Black history and stuff like that, it
Why
doesn't
do they
matter.
even think of something like that?
Their challenge now is that there's the internet,
Trump
right?
wants
So
to knock everything out.
yeah, so it's it's gonna
It
be
don't
interesting.
just be black. It's
Yeah,
everything.
but that is just one of his concerted, conscious, focuses
I don't
for sure.
understand why nobody hadn't killed that son of a bitch.
Well, and even the so-called attempts were, I think they were fake.
Yeah, but I said they was all
Nobody
fake.
was really trying to kill him.
Yeah.
If they were trying to kill him, they'd have
Thank
done it
you.
already.
Yeah.
I believe that that the powers that be keep him alive because he's useful. Like what they call a
Thank
useful
you.
idiot.
Thank you.
He's a useful
Yes,
tool
he
that is
is.
depraved enough, that is soulless enough, that is evil enough to do the things that are required to get them the wealth that they want. And I think it's really sad for them because you can't take none of that with you.
Yeah, well,
When you die, you leaving it.
when he gets out this time, that son of a bitch gotta stay out.
He doesn't even intend to get out this time.
I do think the one thing that I
He
thought about
has no
too
choice.
is I would encourage anybody, if you have access to AI or ChatGPT or any of those things, I would encourage you to try to use it, because like sometimes I want to communicate things to my daughters that I don't know how to effectively communicate.
What's AI?
Artificial intelligence is on the computer.
It's on the computer, but
Mhm.
so for example, like one of my daughters was sneezing very loudly, but it was a theatrical thing,
Mhm.
right? And I didn't know how to communicate to her, like, hey, sweetheart, you shouldn't do that because
Yeah,
you're just making a production out of it. Now, if that's something you physically feel, that's different. But you're proactively trying to do it to make like a scene.
mhm.
And I typed in it like, hey, I want to communicate. This is what I'm facing with my daughter. I want to figure out how to communicate to her. This is her age, but I don't want to offend her or be too aggressive in my approach, etc. Right? And it gave like a, hey, consider taking this approach. And so it's just interesting where even if you don't have the
Technology
knowledge
is
on how to
different.
do it yourself,
Better.
there are resources and tools that you can try to, if you care enough to
Yes,
attempt, then it's worth a shot.
it is. And
Yeah.
so,
I would agree.
yeah, and as opposed to being afraid of it and not wanting to engage with it and that
Or
kind of
me,
thing.
or me taking the wrong approach and me scarring them in a certain way, and then they
Hurt their feelings.
hurt their feelings, or for them to be closed off.
Well, and the good thing is that you are addressing it, because the theatrical thing is out of place, it's out of line, and somebody who doesn't care about her the way you care about her may say that and leave a scar where you can correct it in love, right, at this point. And it is, like you say, it's a good thing, it's a tool that's available. How do you want to do this? But what I will say to people is, make sure you go back and read it and maybe edit words that you wouldn't use.
Yeah, say.
You wouldn't say that. So change that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to come out just like
Nah.
it is.
Yeah, no,
I
it
don't.
was more so just like personal coaching, like
Yeah,
use it as
yes,
a personal coaching
yes.
tool for you to internalize, because
Yes.
I was told
Yeah.
mine was AI. And I was like, no, this is my word.
What's AI?
That artificial intelligence. Yeah. So
But
yeah.
mine's my vocabulary, but as I have used it,
it learns.
I can see where they thought that like it was the pivot.
Uh-huh.
Pivot is my word.
Okay.
And
It's my favorite podcast, by the way.
I brought that, but for me, the pivot was because I worked in such a multifaceted space at AT&T. We were pivoting on a dime. There were 4 of us sharing 20,000 clients and different subject matters. And so when I'm done with you, I got to pivot and move to the next thing. And so I learned that pivot, but I think I was very disengaged with AI and total not with it. And I said, and someone said to me, "Oh, I thought your email you put together was AI," and I was like, "No, I don't use AI." Oh yeah, I took what you put and I put it in there and da 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 da. And I'm like, why? Because it's teaching me, and I'm thinking you a dummy. And they said, no, go put it in. Go put it in. Go take what you write and put it in. And so what I found was, for me, I am so matter of factly and straight to the point. It taught me how to soften
I was
and
going
how
to
to
say,
bring the
somebody else I
undertones,
know
'cause I
told me
cut
that
you.
that's what they do. They write what they want to write and say, and they may
Make
spin it
it
and say,
softer.
how do I make this softer, or how do I make
Make
this
this-
less aggressive?
Right.
And then it spits
Right.
back out. So at a minimum, that's a good thing to do. At a
Absolutely. Yeah.
minimum.
Oh yeah. It came,
Yeah.
it finally came to me, but at first I was like, yeah, no. Like,
Well, you didn't need vocabulary. Vocabulary was not your issue. Make
No.
the tone of anything right.
Yeah.
Right. So there you have
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
And-
So I love it. I love it. I agree with you. It can be a great teaching tool. I think the problem that I have with it is that people are not using it to teach, and they're using it to abscond their responsibilities.
To
And
teach.
so
And to
that-
learn.
that-
And to learn, right? kids and stuff are just, putting it in, whatever and spitting out stuff, but you don't learn that way. That I saw a guy, he did a video saying, that where they're using computers the most to teach, less learning is actually happening.
Yes, yes.
And that's a
That
fact.
they've
That
done a
is a
whole
fact.
study on it,
That
and
is
I
true. That is a
believe that,
fact.
I know that. And so what that means is, and I can understand, like, this is something that makes sense to me about that, right? When we were learning spelling words, homework might have been write the spelling words 5 times each. There's something about actually writing the words and doing that
Physical.
that causes it to absorb, causes the brain to absorb it and retain it.
It's for me, it's been on the opposite side where I use it more to learn.
But
So
you
like
are
there-
intentional.
Yeah, so like, for example, like the way I learned math was very different. Like we learned multiplication table, and we had to memorize it. Now there are different methodologies that the kids are using. So now I'll actually take a picture of their homework and I'll say, what methodology is this? Why are they learning this way? Because it seems counterintuitive.
Right.
And it'll actually teach you the methodology that they're doing. So then I can then go back
You
and
can help them.
help them, right?
Well, I want mine to learn with timetables. I want them to learn the tables. I want them to learn the old fashioned way, so I know they know it. Whatever this is, y'all can go over here and do that, but I want them to know how to do math.
And that's why, and I actually do the same thing too. I say, hey, for class, you have to learn it
Like
this way.
this,
Follow the rules. You actually have to show it on the paper like we used to. But additionally, you have to learn my way,
And
which
I
is
say
old
it's
school.
learning bilingual math.
Remember the big green pencils?
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought they were blue.
No, they were green.
Depends on how old you were.
Okay, see, that's the thing.
No,
Yeah,
That's
I-
depends on how old
Okay.
you were.
So I want to
Whomever.
say, to everybody, that I think we've had
I get a
a
little upset today.
pretty mild mannered discussion today. I'm glad that we talked about it though, and to think about, how we can, moving forward with our children, make sure that we are, when we see things in them, that we examine where it came from. And if it came from you, then make sure that whatever you would have needed someone to do for you to make you better and healthier, do that for your children. Do that for your children. Because only somebody, a lot of times I find in experiences that only somebody that's been through it can really tell you.
Mhm.
That's why Alcoholics Anonymous and all that, they have sponsors. Who are they? They're people that have been through it already and have survived it, that can actually support whoever you are, because they understand. And like a lot of times a sponsor, when a person trying to come up with some shenanigans and stuff that don't make sense, sponsor be like, nah, you can't fool me with that one, because I've been there already. So understanding that your DNA is in your children, your parents' DNA is in you. Those things that you would like to see corrected. You have an opportunity to do that with your children. And you have an opportunity even to give some clarity to things that your child may not understand. Like I remember telling Clavon at 14, listen, I get it that your body is, I want you to understand this, your body is going through a chemical change. You're transitioning from a child to a man. There are going to be days that you wake up in the morning and you're mad at me for no reason. I told him, I said, I can remember doing that with my mother. I would be mad at her and she hadn't done nothing to me. She even did nothing yet, but I was mad with her. Okay. And I had to let him know, I want you to know you're not crazy, but I also had to tell him how to deal with, so I didn't have to hurt him. Right. When you feel that way about me, take your butt to your room. Don't be, because I haven't done anything to you. You mad, but chemically you're going through some changes. Understand that. Let me let you know. When he asked me who was the first boy I ever kissed, I told him the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like there's things that I gave him the truth.
It's no need to lie to them. There's no need for that. Just don't do it. Don't do it
Yeah.
because you're trying to make yourself perfect. We're not perfect.
Thank you. And you're never gonna be.
You're not perfect. Don't do that.
What's also a trip about that? They don't require it.
They're saying don't do that.
They don't require it. Like one of the
Please
things
don't
I
do that.
heard my son say recently was about how his dad felt like if he couldn't take him to buy him stuff, that he didn't hang out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the truth. But it was crazy because I used to tell his dad in real time at the time, listen, he just wants your company.
That's it.
He just wants your presence. He doesn't need you to buy him things to be around him.
Not material stuff.
Cost your dad.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what it is.
Cost
Kids
mom.
need, right, kids want the company of their parents. If it's as simple as sitting there and laying my head on your shoulder,
Oh, Lord.
that's okay with them.
Tony said,
Kids-
don't touch you.
Huh?
Don't touch you.
Well, for Tony, no.
My son does that.
Uh-huh.
And you know how big he is.
Yeah, and he's 6'6" something.
Yeah.
He real big guy, but he lays his head on his mommy's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And as he should. And you have to tolerate that.
I can't help it. He's
Right.
too damn
You
big.
can't-
And he's 6'6". He's a size 17 shoe.
Even if you wanted to, with
Even
that,
if I wanted to.
love it. I
And he
love
could
it.
lay
That's
his
what
leg
he-
across me, and
Let
my
me tell
daughter laughs because my
Uh-huh.
daughter's like, yeah, all that touchy, she don't go for that shit.
My son, once he started playing football, I had a big old bed, and he used to like to tackle me on the bed and wouldn't let me get up. Oh, I would be hot if you don't let me up from here. And he would be laughing because I just didn't have the strength to make him move. And he ain't a big guy, but he was bigger than me, right? And once he got bigger than me, another one of his favorite things was to pat me
Oh,
on
that's
top of
so
my head.
irritating.
He wanted to pat me. Yeah, shorty. Okay. Just know I will still do you. Okay, don't.
Right.
So with that sore balls if he touched me in the top of my head.
Okay. Oh my gosh, he pat me. He just thought that was the funniest thing ever. But that tackling me on the bed, oh my gosh, he thought that was hilarious. It was not. Let me just say, it was not. It used to frustrate me. I got my folks on here, Vivian, Monica. Any last comments? Anything you guys want to say?
Hi,
Uh-huh.
I'm just really listening because my 46-year-old is like that, but my 27-year-old, we have to go get neck and neck. I mean, I have to drop the mic on him because my 46-year-old, he know me. He been through it all. We've been through it all together.
Okay.
My 27-year-old, he's learning me because he getting to know me when I was inside those walls. So hey, I have to stand toe to toe, nose to nose with him to let him know, he's so much like me, attitude. Oh my God. Yeah.
And
So
listen,
I have to drop the mic.
but the opportunity you have is that in as much as you know that he's like you know what would work with you.
True.
And
True.
get
Just my oldest son told me today, because I called him about his little brother. He told me today, Mom, see, he don't know your craziness and everything. I know all about your craziness. So y'all just gotta learn one another. That's why I sit back and look at y'all. So whatever bullshit y'all on, that be y'all bullshit. Cause I'm laughing because I've been through all of this with you. And with him, we go through it. But guess what? I have to let him know my point of view and stay 10 on my 10. If I don't stay on my 10 and let him know, because we are so much alike, we can't grow if I don't let him know.
okay. Right.
Hmm
That's good. And one of the things, so let me ask you this. Obviously your older son was much older when you went to prison than the younger one, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yeah.
far apart in age. So
Yeah.
the younger one didn't have the benefit of you, like you say, you and the older one, you
He
guys,
had the benefits of me at his younger age. Then
yeah.
when my mom passed, my cousin took him
Mhm.
because of money reasons and things. But my oldest son, when he was in prison when I went to prison.
Oh
And when he
wow.
came out, I was still there. But I started on my son's 13th birthday. I got to make a phone call and talk directly to him, and that's when our relationship started to build. And it's been building ever since then. and he's 27 now. By the grace of God, he answered prayers. But there's some rocky roads. But hey, we had to go through the curve to stop sign, and we started to get to where we're going.
Yeah.
We started growing.
And I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad we had this conversation. So it'll be a principle. You think about, okay, that's and what should I do, or what would I have wanted somebody to do with me, or what would I have wanted my mother to say in this moment to help whatever the situation might be. So that's awesome. That's awesome. You're so great. I love you. Miss Monica, my dear, any final comments, love?
Hello. I had heard about the DNA and how it's passed on from generation to generation, and I didn't know it at the time, but all I know is that what didn't serve me from my parents, I made sure not to pass it on to my boys. I made sure that I changed it around. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everybody good for the evening. I appreciate you guys. This has been another great session of Fruit to Heal. Check us out on YouTube. Check out our videos. Leave comments. Any topics you think you want us to talk about, let us know. And we will see you guys next week. Good night.
Have a good rest of the week.
You too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Miss Cheryl. Miss Jill.
No, she didn't even, she left a minute ago.
Oh.
No.
A while ago.
Yeah, a while ago she got off. I guess she must have actually had to go do the thing. Okay, see you guys.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.